Greetings YouTube, Simon here, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about the Mercenary Quest feature, a new feature that's being implemented in the Final Fantasy VII Remake that wasn't present in the original game. Now this was announced a couple of weeks ago, but it's already been the source of some controversy online. A lot of people are very skeptical about it, and that has to do with the fact that, as we all know, the Final Fantasy VII Remake is a game that's split into multiple episodes. Now, when this was first announced that Square were doing this and taking this approach with the Final Fantasy VII Remake, a lot of people were concerned about the game just becoming a cash grab, but Square reassured fans that each episode will be a full-size game, and indeed, of course, this first game that's coming out next month is going to be taking place over 2 Blu-ray discs. So it is going to be a full-size game. But then people had the concern, well, is it still just going to be a cash grab? And are they just going to be fleshing out Midgar, for example, which is what the first episode is going to be focused on? Are they just going to be fleshing that out with fluff that nobody really cares about? Well, that has been a concern that people have been having. And one of the features then that has been announced is this new Mercenary Quest system. And it has got people, if you just check out the Reddit forums for Final Fantasy VII, the Game Facts threads, only go there though if you really want to, kill your hype for the game, in all honesty. I don't recommend that place necessarily right now. But a lot of people are complaining that this particular feature, this new system that's being implemented, is just a means of, as I say, adding a whole bunch of fluff to the game that won't actually bring anything in terms of overall enjoyment. Indeed, many people are thinking back to Final Fantasy 15 and its side quest system, which, let's be honest, wasn't particularly popular. Okay, hunting down rainbow frogs or collecting a dog tag was fun for about 30 seconds, but once you'd done that once, you really didn't feel the need to do it again, except you kind of had to if you wanted to get all the rewards and complete everything that the game had to offer. So that did receive negative feedback, and then, of course, hopefully people were expecting Square to learn from that, as they seem to have learned in many ways for the Final Fantasy VII Remake as we move out of Final Fantasy 15, which was, of course, the last mainstream Final Fantasy numbered release. Now, I am somewhat optimistic that Square are going to have learned lessons, and there will be more to these quests than mere standard side quest action that we've seen a million times before. For example, the rat problem quest here. At first glance, you might just think that's a typical quest. Go and exterminate a bunch of rats, come back and tell the NPC you've done so for your 500 gil reward or whatever. But I actually believe there's more to this than meets the eye based on what we've been told. So yes, it might just start with that, with going to exterminate some rats, but a lot of these quests, I believe, are going to have multiple steps involved in them, and this one, for example, could very well end up, from what I understand, with the party uncovering a mole or somebody that's spying on behalf of Shinra, against Avalanche, and we uncover them and take them out. So there is actually something more important to this quest, rather than, our heroes have just gone ahead and destroyed a Mako reactor, now let's go and kill some rats for somebody. There's more to it than that. And I'm expecting a similar thing for some of these other quests. Now, we know that Chadley here is going to be involved in a side quest system all to himself called the Battle Report feature, I believe it is. And that has to do with gathering data on enemies and monsters in order to get materia rewards. So it's likely that this particular quest is going to exist in order to introduce the party to Chadley so that they can then learn about that new feature. So from what we've understood about these side quests so far, there is going to be a little bit more involved in them than perhaps what people are expecting to be the case, at least judged by the initial internet reaction. Don't get me wrong, I do understand and I do appreciate the skepticism that many are showing about this feature, but one of the other reasons that makes me expect this system to be something that's more involved than, say, Final Fantasy 15 or just any other game's fetch, kill, collect, etc. side quest system is the fact that it looks like it's going to be, first of all, limited to whatever chapter you're playing on. So in this case, the player is on chapter 3, which is called Home Sweet Slum, and that gives access to 6 of these quests. Now, the reason why I think that's important is that it makes me think that the quests are going to be tied to the story of that chapter to some degree. If it was simple fetch quests, then I don't think that would be, a factor involved in when they're going to be available to the player, and that's perhaps why 2 of these quests are currently locked out. It could just be for the purposes of, we don't want you to see these on this particular screenshot, but I think what's more likely is that these are tied to a part of the story on chapter 3 that the player has not yet reached, and so it's important that these are not yet seen by the player. And one thing as well, a lot of people I think have assumed that these little black dots here represent the difficulty of the side quest, but I think it's more likely they represent the number of steps involved in the side quest. So for example, the Chadley one, which as I say is likely just there to, introduce you to the character of Chadley, only has 2 steps. But some of these other quests have 4, maybe 5. Now I could be wrong on that. It could be to do with the difficulty of the quest, but I don't think it is. I think because we've got, like, in each case, the first step here, as I'm assuming they're steps highlighted, it does make me think that it is steps rather than difficulty there. Now, it's also clear that Final Fantasy VII Remake is going to require quite a bit of endgame action. Optional content to keep the player engaged with. So even though there's only 6 side quests here, 6 mercenary quests available for Chapter 3, I expect that as you start to get down to the final chapters of the game, we're going to be seeing probably quite a few pages of these quests become available to the player, just to keep you occupied when you're not engaged with the story. But yeah, I'm really, really interested in hearing what you guys think about the Mercenary Quest system. Is it something that you think is just going to be there to exist as fluff, just so that Square can say how many extra hours it takes to go through Midgar in the remake compared to the original game? Or do you think there's going to be some serious depth here involved in this system that's really going to add to the experience and make it worth splitting the Final Fantasy game into multiple parts as Square are doing? Now, obviously the Mercenary Quest system is just one additional feature that's existing in the remake but didn't in the original game. There are others as well. I mentioned the battle report, but even on top of that, there's other systems as well. So yeah, please do share your thoughts about this down in the comments below. I also want to just give a shout out to Demented Soul 10 for becoming our latest channel member, which is very much appreciated, so thank you for your support. And if you have any other questions or comments about the Final Fantasy VII Remake, then please do leave those down in the comments, and stay tuned to the channel. I'll be with you next time. Goodbye, everyone. Well, folks, thanks so much for stopping by the video today. Now, perhaps I might be able to persuade you to come and join us over in the Fuzzfinger Gaming Discord channel. It's a great place where we can continue on with the conversation, and I'll leave a link to it down in the video description. Until next time, guys, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.